So I wanted to make today's video about the ability to learn because on Friday's video, I kind of showed people all the things you can learn through my channel, my YouTube channel. There's other aspects you can learn. I've done other videos like how to learn Linux, and I made an entire web page on all the different resources, white papers, wikis, chats, everything you can go to. Literally with the internet, you can learn anything in the world. But a lot of people, I'll get questions that are uh, basically people that have that aren't able to learn, and that's an issue. It doesn't matter what I do. I could make the most simplistic, best video playlist in the entire world, and it's not going to help that person because they don't have the ability to learn. So today's video just kind of covering that because I wanted to say anybody out there that wants to learn a new skill, you need to practice the ability to learn. I see way too many people making excuses of why they don't know something, why they can't do something, all these things. And I've been guilty of this in the past. I'm no saint. But the whole idea is you need to get outside of yourself and be okay with failing because that's what really the ability to learn. I always say, there's a good quote. You either fail and learn or you win and you don't learn really that much. That's the thing. The people that say, I know everything, I have all this, I'm just ridiculously knowledgeable, all I do is win. That's probably the dumbest person on earth. Because at the end of the day, you have to fail to learn. And that's kind of counterintuitive. It sounds weird, but it's the truth. Today on a live stream, I was installing Windows 95 on a modern day PC. And that modern day PC, I had over 2 gigahertz of speed on the processor, and Windows 95 couldn't read it. And Microsoft said, well, you just can't use those processors on 95. And then somebody else out there literally created a patch to where you can patch Windows 95 to actually use a modern day processor, which is kind of insane. Now, obviously, in this example, I was doing it on a Twitch live stream and I failed towards the end of it where I applied the patch, but it still didn't quite work. But I wanted to go ahead and make it. I never quit. There was never a time where I was like, well, it's impossible. I guess the people on the internet say, hey, it's impossible. It's impossible. That's not true. Anything is possible. I know personally there's been times where I said something was impossible and then I ended up doing it. So probably the best example I can think of from my career was when I had an entire data center crash. Literally, this data center was established by probably a couple dozen people over probably 20 years. And I had to rebuild the whole thing in days, not knowing a lot of the software I was installing. I mean, that sounds impossible. And I told myself it was impossible, but at the end of the day, I was like, well, I either install this and get to keep my job, or I fail and I lose my job. And that's just how it is. So I was like, all right, I guess I got to get to work. I'd rather get fired trying to get this working than just not try at all. And even though I thought the chance of success was 0% and there was no way I'd possibly be able to restore 30 different servers, not knowing a lot of the core software with no image backups, all of it was just system state backups and file backups and those types of things, very granular. But I was able to actually get a functional system in 72 hours, almost all the base core components installed. And then within 2 weeks, had 100% functionality. And then within a month, that literally was probably double or triple what that business was capable of because of all the improvements from all the new technology I installed during that reinstallation and backup process. Literally something I thought was impossible. There's no way I could even possibly succeed. I succeeded beyond my wildest dreams, but beyond what I thought was capable of being done, which is amazing. And really what I took away from that was I was putting limits on myself. I was saying something was not possible. And everyone does this. When you're making excuses, when you're doing all these things, that's you putting a limit. What I see all the time in the comments, I can't move from Windows because of X, Y, and Z. And really, it's you putting a limit on yourself. You're saying, well, I can't learn a new software. I can't learn a new operating system. I can't learn. It's just an excuse. And that's why I say it's important to learn. A lot of the videos I make, I just also want to give this example for you. A lot of the videos I make, I don't know that particular software. Someone recommends, hey, you should check out this specific software. Like I think today I learned Vayon. It's a remote software. It's going to be tomorrow's video on Monday. And it's something that's completely open source and free, but I never used it. I installed it. I read all the white papers, went through their entire wiki. I'm like, wow, this is really powerful. Why aren't more people using this? So I went through, spent probably 3 to 4 hours learning everything there is to learn about this and simplifying it and condensing it down into a 10-minute video so you could learn 3 or 4 hours of the knowledge in literally 10 minutes. And that's really what I do on this channel and what I really get the most value out of, because I know they can take that video and learn everything they need to know in 10 minutes that took me 3 or 4 hours. That's amazing. Think of the amount of value you get from something like that. But at the end of the day, that 10-minute video, even though I made it much more simple and that barrier to entry much lower, it still relies on the other user, at the person at the end of this screen, looking at it and going, I can do this. I can go ahead and learn something new. I'm not going to make an excuse. I'm just going to do it. And so many people make the excuse. And I see the excuses all the time. So stop making excuses. Go learn something new. You don't have to follow my videos. I don't care what it is in life. The one thing I tell my kids every single day, and they get so tired of hearing me say this, you have to fail before you succeed. If you just succeed all the time, you're winning 100% of the time, you're not really learning anything, because that's just stuff you already know. When you fail, you learn, and when you learn, you better yourself. You have to fail to succeed, and that's what I mean by that. It's a very powerful thing. It's my ethos. It's the one thing I always say, and it's super important. And that's how I'm successful. It's how I'm successful in what I do. And it's important. If there's one thing you could learn from me, is the ability to learn. Whether or not you like my videos or not, I don't care. I really, if I could just make you learn one thing, it's that ability to learn. Stop putting limitations on yourself, because I've done it to myself, and I regret all those years where I said I couldn't do something. So stop saying you can't do something, making excuses, go out there, execute, and fail. I want you to fail spectacularly. Maybe not in a production environment. Hopefully you're not in charge of a data center and you have to experience what I did. But you get the point. Set up a test bed. Tinker on your home computer. Obviously, make backups though. Always make backups. So with all that said, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. And as always, thank you to all my patrons. Without you, I couldn't make videos like this one. And I'll see you in the next one.